If you've been thinking about making a move to eXp Realty and you are ready to take the next step, you are in the right place. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to fill your eXp application step by step. So there is no confusion, no guessing, and no reason to put it off any longer. Before we get into it, my name is Scott Coomer. I'm a real estate team leader based in Arizona with eXp Realty. I created this video because I know that sometimes the application process itself can feel like a barrier. You know you want to make the move. You just want someone to walk you through it so you do it right. That is exactly what you're going to do today. So pull up your application, follow along with me, and by the time this video is over, you'll be one step closer to making it official. Let's get into it. All right, so in order to start doing your application, you're going to want to go to the website join.exprealty.com. And I'll go ahead and put in the description as well too, so that way you have the link down below. Now, when you go to the application website, you're going to go ahead and click join now. All right. And then you're going to go ahead and hit whatever country you're in. So I'm in the United States. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. Then I'm going to go ahead and start filling it out. So now they have over here on the left-hand side, you can see it's if you're a new eXp Realty agent, or if you've already started filling an application and you need to resume your application, you can go ahead and enter your email address right here to resume that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over here. My first name is Scott. My last name is Kumler. And I created an email address for this. So Scott Coomer, azrealtor@gmail.com. And over here, confirm Scott Kumler, azrealtor@gmail.com. Then down here, it's going to ask, are you licensed in multiple states? If you are, then you click yes. If not, then you click no. I'm only licensed in Arizona, so I'm going to go ahead and click no for that. Primary license state, again, I want to click Arizona state that you're licensed in, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill out the phone number here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and check these boxes down here, which is the privacy policies. So I'm going to click both those, and then also say that I am not a robot. And I'm going to go ahead and hit create account. Awesome. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and confirm. Let's see here, Scott Kumler, azrealtor@gmail.com. All right, so then what it's going to do is it's going to send me a verification email to make sure that I am good over here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the verification code in the email here that they gave me. And I'm going to go ahead and hit verify. And then boom, I am now in. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mailing address in here. So I'm going to put my mailing address. All right. And we'll go ahead and continue. And of course, they have like suggested or what I entered. You can use suggested right there. Okay, so then here it's going to ask for your first name. It's going to go ahead and put in, it's going to ask for your birth date as well too. All right, and so my birthday is July 7th, 1983. And then it's going to go ahead and ask you to enter in your social security numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my social security number. I'm going to unpause this or pause this real quick so I can get that in there, and then I'll see you on the next screen. All right, so after I hit my social security number in there, I hit continue. And now I'm going to on the next page here. So it says, do you conduct real estate business outside of the United States? You're going to either put yes or no. I personally don't, but if you're licensed in a different country like Mexico or anything like that, you can definitely hit yes. So I'm going to do no there. And then it says, are you a eXp corporate staff member? Obviously, if you are, you hit yes. I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and hit no. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Are you currently licensed? Now, again, same thing. If you are not, like, let's say you're currently, maybe you're still have to, actually officially apply for your license, or whatever that may be, then you would hit no. But in this case, if you are currently licensed, you'd hit yes. And it says, what state are you licensed in? So for me, I'm going to go ahead and click Arizona. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue there. All right, so now it's going to ask for my license number. All right, so now you can go ahead and put your license number in here. All right, then it's going to ask you how many sales transactions you've closed in the past 12 months. If you don't know exactly, it's not a huge issue, but you can kind of get an idea or an estimate. So let's say go ahead and hit 8. Do you have any pending transactions or active listings in Arizona that you plan to bring with you to eXp? Obviously, here you can hit yes or no or not sure. Obviously, sometimes if you have a deal under contract, you should be able to transfer it over to eXp, but I would definitely check with your other brokerage. You might be able to put not sure because you're not sure yet because you're not sure how that's going to work. Or of course, if you don't have any, in this case, I'll go ahead and put no. Please select the association you plan to be affiliated with as a real estate agent in Arizona. So for me, I'm part of WeServe, so I'm going to go ahead and click WeServe down there. Then it says please select the MLS. So I am part of the harmless. So that's go ahead and click that. And then when do you plan to transfer your license? Obviously, even when you do this fill this application, you don't necessarily need to transfer your license right away. So you have a little bit of time as well too. So you just kind of pick the date that you want to transfer your license. Again, it's not like you have to like stick by it if it's a couple days later or whatever, but just kind of an idea or estimate. In this case, I'll go ahead and put the 17th in there. Will any agents name you as their sponsor before you transfer license to eXp? So this is mostly like if you're bringing a team with you, or if you have other agents that you're planning on bringing with you already before joining eXp. Like me, myself, as a team leader, I brought 30 agents over as well. So obviously there's a lot of people that named me as a sponsor when we made the move over there. So that's kind of what this would mean here. If you're not bringing anyone with you and you're just kind of by yourself, you can go ahead and no. All right, right here, this is kind of a video that shows you a little bit about the sponsorship program and all that stuff and how to name a sponsor. So once you get done watching the video, then you're going to go ahead and I viewed the video and understand the sponsor policy. So you click that. All right, so then in here, you're going to go ahead and name your sponsor. So in here, I'll put myself, Scott Coomer, and then you put the email address as well too. So my email address is scott.kumler@exprealty.com. So if anyone names me as a sponsor, they're going to go ahead and put that in the eXp sponsor email spot. Then once you get done doing that, you're going to go ahead and click this spot where it says search sponsor. So I'm going to search sponsor here, and then I'm going to see my name in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit select, and then hit confirm. All right, so you got that, and then once I get that done, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and I'm going to hit confirm selected. Do you currently own a real estate brokerage or share interest in another real estate brokerage? So this is obviously if you own a brokerage, or you share some sort of interest. Most people don't, but if you are owning a brokerage and you're going to be moving the brokerage over, whatever that may be, you hit yes. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and click no. Do you have a spouse or domestic partner that is an active real estate licensed real estate agent? So for me, my wife also is a full-time real estate agent, so I go ahead and click yes on here. If you don't, then you click no. Do you intend on performing a domestic partnership? So we didn't form a domestic partnership. It is an option. We actually staggered it where my wife actually is my sponsor. So if you are a husband-wife team, that sometimes makes more financial sense because you typically can double dip on the revenue share, but it's completely up to you how you want to handle it. For us, we just kind of did it that way where, my wife's my sponsor, and then I made it a little bit easier as well too. So for me, I'd go ahead and hit no. And then also too says, please select the estimated date your spouse, domestic partner either joined or will be joining eXp. Please be advised that they have a competitor affiliation. It's prohibited within eXp policies and procedures. So basically, if you have a spouse, they have to join eXp if you move over to eXp. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit pick a date, and I'm going to go ahead and pick the exact same date that I'm moving over. And then I go ahead and hit continue. All right, so then it says, do you currently own, lease, or manage a real estate office in any capacity? Same thing here. This is obviously, teams typically, lease buildings a little bit more. I personally did not, so we didn't have a brick and mortar location. So in this case, I would go ahead and put no. All right, so per the ICA and PMP, agents are required to disclose any past and current legal, criminal, and licensing issues. So here it kind of asks if you have any specific disputes or lawsuits or anything like that. So read over these. If any of these apply, then make sure you check them. In my case, none of them applied, so I'll go ahead and hit none of the above apply to me. All right, so W-2 employees, do you currently or plan to pay another licensee as a W-2 employee? So same thing here, you can hit yes or no. This is mostly if you have a team. You might have like a sales manager or operations manager, something like that. You might hit yes. Or if like you have like a transaction coordinator that works for you, you might hit yes. If you're an independent agent, you don't have those things, then you can hit no. For this sake, I'll go ahead and click no in there. Will you be selling real estate with eXp as individual agent or as part of a team? Same thing. If you're going to join a team, then you would go ahead part of a team. If you are planning on just moving over as an individual agent, you go ahead and hit individual agent. So click that. If you get part of a team, then it will basically, what's your role within the team? It'll ask if you're a member or leader. So if you're a member, then you basically go ahead and like name your team name, and team leader name as well too. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit individual agent for this example. All right, so billing and dues. So this just kind of gives you a head up what your fees are and everything like that for joining eXp. Fee structure, sign up fees $149 for the sign up. And then there's a monthly $85 monthly cloud brokerage fee. By checking this box, I agree to the terms of the independent contract agreement to maintain a valid payment method on file at all times. So click that. Will someone else be paying your sign up and monthly cloud brokerage fee on your behalf? So this is obviously if someone agrees to pay for it for you, so in this case, I'll go ahead and put no. And then once you get done doing that, you have to basically go in and hit add payment details. So you click add payment details, and then this is where you're basically going to be adding your credit card and your bank account. Now the credit card is where the automatic payment is going to be coming from for your monthly fees. The bank account is where you want your commission checks to go because that's going to be direct deposited into your bank account. So you definitely need to make sure that you fill both of these out. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this here so while I put my credit card information in there because it won't let me go on without putting it in. All right, now that I've added my credit card, it's going to tell you that your credit card's been added successfully. Now you're going to go ahead and put in your bank account information. All right, so once you get done putting in your bank account information, you're going to go ahead and hit save. It is going to ask you what your preferred method of payment is, like what the default payment is. So you can either choose a credit card, bank account, mostly for the dues that are going to come out. So then once you go ahead and hit save, it's going to take you again this page. It's compensation. Make sure your bank account matches your W9. The name of the bank account must match the name of the W9. Personal business. This ensures commission payments processed correctly. So, for example, what type of bank account should we use to deposit your commissions? So at least in the state of Arizona, I don't know if everything's kind of the same, but basically wherever your bank account has to match. So, for example, if your commission checks get made out to your PLC, then you can make it a business account. However, your commission checks get made out to just you personally, then you want to make sure it's a personal individual account. So I'm gonna go ahead and click personal individual. Okay, and then again, same thing on here. You put in all of your information. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Scott Kumler. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and fill in all the bank account information in here too, and this will determine how you want compensation. All right, once you get done entering in your compensation information for your bank account, then you're going to go ahead and click the box at the bottom. Check that, and then you'll move on to the next screen. So this is going to be on the next screen here. So this is going to be your tax information. So complete your tax profile. So basically, this is how you do your taxes. Are you filling out the W-9 as an individual, sole proprietor, or as a formal business entity? So you can do individual, sole proprietor, or business entity. So here I'll go ahead and just do individual, sole proprietor. Hit continue. All right, so then in this case, you're basically going to be entering in your tax reporting name and all that information. So I'm going to go ahead and say Scott. My LLC is Scott Kumler PLC. Okay, are you exempt from backup withholdings? So let me know. So this is where you can enter exempt payee code, enter reporting codes, if any, mailing address, that's already on here. So you should be good here. And then you can also enter in social security number or EIN right here. So for this case, I'll go ahead and enter my social security number in, and you can see when I did that, it automatically flooded in. If you're taking it as an EIN, you just go ahead and click that, and then you hit continue. All right, so then this page is basically going to review your entire application. So once you get done reviewing your application, you will go ahead and click that and hit continue. So making sure everything's correct on there. All right, so then once you get to this spot, this is kind of like the final spot here. Once you get here, you are going to review and sign a couple things. You are going to click review and sign the independent contractor agreement. So you're going to review that, which is the ICA, and then you're going to review and sign the W9 as well too. Once you get done reviewing and signing both of those, then you're just going to come over here and you complete application. And then you're all set and you're completely done. Your sponsor will go ahead and get an email letting him know that you've applied. And then once eXp actually reviews your application and they approve it, now if there's anything like any mistakes that they see on the application, then what they're going to do is they're going to probably email you some addendums to fix things. Like, for example, let's say there's a mistake on the W-9 or something like that. So they're going to review it to make sure there's no mistakes. If there's mistakes, then you'll be getting contacted via email, letting you know, and letting you know there's a couple things that need to be fixed. Otherwise, if everything looks good with your application, then what's going to happen is eXp is going to send you an email after that with licensing transfer instructions. And once you get that, then you're welcome to transfer your license over whenever you want. I do recommend waiting until you get that email, just because, we don't want to sever from your old brokerage and then apply to your new brokerage. And then eXp is not going to approve your application, or eXp is not going to approve your license transfer until they've approved the application. And so if there's ever a mistake or something needs to be fixed, we don't want you to have like your license inactive for a couple of days or whatever, especially if you have anything that you need to produce or anything that you need to do yourself. So once you go ahead and fill that out, then you'll be good there. And once you go ahead and review and sign everything, you'll be good. So that's basically it. If you followed along with me today, You just completed your eXp application. Welcome to the next chapter. Now, if you watch this video and you're still on the fence, if you've not filled out the application yet because you still have some questions about what partnering with me and my team actually looks like, that is completely okay. I do not want anyone filling out the application until they feel confident it is the right move for them. So here's what I want you to do. Click the link in the description below and book a free one-on-one Zoom call with me directly. We'll sit down together, no pressure, no pitch, and we'll walk you through exactly what joining our team looks like, what support you will have from day one, and whether this is genuinely the right fit for you where you are in your career right now. It takes about 30 seconds to book a time on my calendar. The link is in the description. I'm Scott Coomer. Thank you for watching. I hope to talk to you soon.